Before we jump into this episode, I wanted to let you know that GYET is now on Patreon. So at GYET, if you join us on Patreon, you get access to features, benefits that no one else can get. You won't see this on YouTube, you won't hear this on Spotify. If you sign up at the startup level, because this is all about entrepreneurship, the startup level, you'll get ad-free episodes, except for my ad reads, with outtakes included. So you'll get to see when we stumble, we make funny comments, we make mistakes. You'll be able to see all of that and laugh along with us. You will access the Patreon founder level members' questions to the experts. So I'll get into a little bit more of that later, but you will have more inside access to these entrepreneurs that I'm interviewing. You'll also get a PDF of my handwritten episode notes with questions that I have planned to ask and maybe some that I didn't get to during the episode. Now, if you want to join and support at the founder level, this is where you'll get everything at the startup level, but you'll also get access to a live updating Google Sheet with show information and filming dates. Why that is important is because you will have the opportunity at this level to be backstage while the episode is filming. So you won't have to wait until the episode comes out to watch. You can watch from backstage and just be right there right now. Also, you'll have 5 of you will have the opportunity to ask the entrepreneur that I'm interviewing a question right then and there. And also, this entrepreneur might have some special gifts and incentives for you, so you will be there live in case they want to drop any links or promo codes or gifts to you. So these are the ways that you can support GYET here on Patreon. I would really appreciate that support. It helps me grow the channel, bring more entrepreneurs that you want to hear from on. So thank you so much for your time and enjoy the episode. This is Get Your Entrepreneurship Together, where you'll find stories, tips, and value from successful entrepreneurs who are out there crushing it. Here's a short preview of this week's episode.
When I share you that system so that you can create your own answer, that's the whole idea about the system. Everything is aligned to purpose. When you do that, you create a vision, which is a fulfillment vision.
We are seeing that in our society and how there's just a complete communication and empathetic breakdown.
Even if I die right now, I have no regret, because it's not the 15,100 is important. Important is that we are creating that fulfillment for each other.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. My name is Brian Elam. I will be your host here on Get Your Entrepreneurship Together. Today is going to be a great conversation about lifting yourself up, lifting your business up, and really trying to develop that foundation of what it takes to be successful, not only in business, but to be a successful and fulfilled human being. And today we have Mukesh here to help guide you through that journey based on his real world experiences and how he went through what some would describe the dark night of the soul, came out the other side, and is here to be a light for other people. So without further ado, Mukesh, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me. And thank you for the honor.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here. So let's just get right into it, because I want people to really understand you and your story, where you came from. So we really, again, lay that foundation of how you got to where you are and became the man that you are. So if you could tell us, where did you grow up and what did your parents do for a living?
Um, I was born in a small town in India, and my parents, my mom and dad, loved me, supported me, gave me all the freedom and opportunities I ever needed and wanted. My dad used to be a franchisee of a very successful logistics company, and so the money was good, and yeah, small town, good neighborhood. We One day, the franchisor siblings had a conflict, and then they decided to shut down the business. and it meant that my father was without a business, my family without the income. So he looked for similar sized businesses that time, but he couldn't find any. So one of my uncle then suggested to start their own logistics company, and that's what they did. However, they didn't realize that this new business needed different mindset, different skill set, and the capital which my dad didn't have. And and this business had more overheads than the previous one. This business, he had to borrow, money from his friends, relatives, to pay the wages. Since sometimes he was stuck, he was lost, and that pushed my mom into mindset of scarcity and anxiety, because that was a reflection of her environment, how she was brought up with her seven sisters in a home, and I couldn't do much as I was working as a young man myself. And so one of my friend then encouraged me to come to Australia. And needless to say, my family didn't have savings, but they mortgaged their home. And here I was. Then I started studying masters in accounting while working in restaurants. I was paying the bills. And then after completing masters in accounting and CPA, I started my own accounting company. So, and this client connected with me because I understood their pain, the uncertainty of small business owners, how they feel, and we started growing. And now those three problems, I remember that when I started accounting company, were like small and medium business owners fail very first, within first few years. And number two was that when they retire, they do not have enough funds to fund the lifestyle they want. Number three,
Mm.
that accountants used to focus more on compliance and reporting rather than helping business owners to create that profitable, sustainable business. And those three things, then uh, I wanted to solve it. Within a few years, I solved that problem for our clients. I was still unfulfilled. I was still um, you know, not happy. As we grow, hired more people, overheads increase, and I just still felt something is missing. And then I had you know, I took a pause for a because I reflected on that. My dad didn't live a good business life, I would say. He was unfulfilled through that. He couldn't create the financial freedom through business, and he was always running around. And my mom, uh, you know, lived a life of that scarcity and anxiety because of her bringing up. And I didn't want to be that myself for myself, for my wife, my 2 year old son, and even for my mom and dad either. So I decided to take that massive action. I invited a couple of my team members in a conference room, and we spent from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for 3 months, Monday to Saturday. We just went on the whiteboard. We do some scribbles at who we are, what we want to do, why we're doing it. And after 3 months of the intense process I've ever been, professionally or personally, we came out with our value system.
Wow, that is that is quite the journey. And from what you sent over to me before, we got started here, you mentioned that you had experienced that sense of wandering and unfulfilledness and anxiety and things like as a child, as a younger man. But I was wondering if we could go back maybe even a little bit further to when your father did have that successful franchise and was able to be that supportive figure. If you can remember back to then, what did you want to be when you were that little child? Do you remember what your dream was?
No, I was stuck and lost all the time. I didn't know anything. I was just following sometime friends, sometime someone. I just I didn't know anything. Even I would say I'm the one who had so many flaws. Even first 30 years, I didn't know what to do.
Mm.
Didn't know anything. Just went with the flow with, you know, yeah, just learning, picking out things. And, and I'm not, again, I'm very grateful for that journey as well. I'm very grateful. No complaint at all. However, I would like, I enjoy it now more than what I used to because I was never present. I was anxious. I get jealous when someone else get something because and it was not intentional. I didn't know what I was doing, and and so now I know that, and everyone knows that that behavior is not good. But going deep about that, that why does it happen, and what now can I do so that I can prevent that happen? Because I didn't want to live my life that anxious, jealous, with that scarcity mindset, that that zero sum belief. I didn't want to be there, but it took me years to get out of that mindset and and live on the other side, which is now. So yeah,
Mm.
there's so many experiences. You will say that I will, um, whether work life or a personal life with the friends. There's so many experiences which I now I think I could change if I knew what I know now. And because that side is not good, that anxious, that jealous, that scarcity mindset we talk about, that's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I went through that myself. It's funny how your journey and mine kind of has those parallels because we went through some financial roller coasters in my family as I was coming up as well, which kind of left me, uh, with the ability to not make decisions. Always looking at other things, and maybe this will be the one, maybe that'll be the one. Yeah, it's you're right. It's not a good way to live, but yet coming out the other side, it gives you perspective that most people don't have, or if they're going through it, they can't see, which is the perfect position, as you know, to be in as a coach.
It's true. And yeah, and while learning and story writing, I found out that this now having this low moment, having these challenges, having those struggles now, it's also an integral part of a life which I don't want to miss because they now I see them as an opportunity because if they I don't have those, the life will be like just a straight line, which I
Mm.
and there's no story. If there's no low period, there's no challenges, there's no struggle, there's no story. And our life is all about our stories, your story, everyone's story. So now I see them differently. Now I see them, I, I will have those challenges. And I now want to keep preparing myself rather than avoid those challenges. Because,
That's a great mindset. Great mindset. And just it's so funny again you say that about the story, and because I was talking to interviewing someone else just yesterday, and we got into the idea of how stories are really how we communicate, and that everybody loves a good comeback story, coming from that particular bottom, rising up. Everybody loves those stories. Nobody wants to read about middle of the road milk toast. We need that roller coaster.
yeah. And that's learning opportunities, and this is a growth. And with our stories, whoever, like when I say my story, your story, everyone's story, even we get inspired from so many other people's story, and that's how we all learn and connect.
Yes,
When I can see that you've been through and you got me all the lessons, and then when you gave me all the lessons, I know I can now avoid those mistakes and make my own mistakes, which will help someone else. And if we enjoy those making mistakes and getting out of that, that's the fulfilled mindset.
I like the fact that you said that you can draw that parallel between almost being excited for the struggle or the failure. And that is not That is not a common thing that is out there in the public conversation right now. So I'm really glad that you said that. And speaking about entrepreneurs and small businesses and things, you one of the things you focus on obviously is helping them achieve financial freedom. So I was wondering how you help small businesses do that. And I guess maybe you could answer this one first. What does financial freedom mean to you? Like, how do you define it?
See, financial freedom, when I looked at Google and other places, I couldn't find my own definition that I wanted to belong to when I say what the financial freedom means to me. So I then wrote my own, which I'll share. That financial freedom for me is a very multifaceted concept beyond the monetary wealth. It's one of those six elements, which money is one of the six elements, which plays very crucial role in enabling and enhancing other five. So my six elements when I talk about in the needs are brand, money, time, skill, health, and experience. So I stack them all our needs into the six categories, you can say. So brand, money, time, skill, health, and experience. Where brand is not just a logo. Brand is what we stand for. Brand is our values and purpose. Brand is how we want to be perceived and how we want to be remembered by ourselves and other people.
Yes, very well said.
So, and then I look into five other life circles, which means that when I say I design my life, it's like there are five life circles I consider. One is the you, myself, like you as a person. When you're designing, you take yourself as a third party. So you. Number two is your family. Number three is your business, employment, colleagues, that circle. Number four is friends and community. And number five is your spiritual, non spiritual life circle. So this is how I divide everything into these 30 cells as a holistic, fulfilled life. So you got six needs, five life circles, overall 30 cells. Now, going back to the financial freedom, is money is a part of that six. It means money across the five life circles. So money is a vital resource for a financial freedom. It's the same thing. Financial freedom is a quantity of money that we talk about. That so it's a vital resource. It opens up doors and opportunities. It helps you set bigger milestones without without you feeling that how would you achieve them faster, and
Right.
it helps you with the resources so that you could have ambitious goals without having that financial limitations, and you can choose people in your life circle, people who are aligned with your values and purpose. And you, when I say financial freedom, it's not just my fulfillment. It's about the people that who are in our life circles, how we can help others create that life, and the financial freedom helps you that. Having money to support my essential needs and the essential needs of the people in my life circle, like we mentioned, where the brand, where we could live a life of values and purpose without feeling that scarcity of mindset. Right? Time, where we could have a freedom, where we could share 168 hours of our week wherever we want to. The skills we could learn, go deep in practicing those skills what we want to be, and learn from the coaches, learn from the university, schools, and colleges we want from. Financial freedom helps you that. Financial freedom keeps you healthy. Physical, again, physical coaching, having sure that you got doctors, coach available so that you are physically fit all the time, and mentally fit. Experience is the last one, that you could with the financial freedom, you so that you could create and enjoy those experiences with joy and satisfaction with the people you want in your life. So when you see financial freedom, it's not just the money, not just the investment, not just the shares. Financial freedom is about having those 30 cells and be able to achieve that using that resource.
Wow, that is that's probably the most descriptive and relevant version of financial freedom that I've heard to date on this show. Thank you for sharing that. Is there any place within your emails, your opt-ins, your books, whatever, where we can see that chart and delve into like where we are and what we need to improve on?
Yes, I'm sharing this, and whatever I'm answering, is you will see everything is aligned with the seven-step fulfillment system, which I'm sharing. I'm not sharing the tactics. I'm sharing the whole engineering. I'm sharing the whole system, which you can use it in any situation of your life. And as I said, this financial freedom definition is aligned with that my learning or implementing the seven-step fulfillment system, where I have the courage now to see things differently and which is aligned with myself. And yes, I'm sharing all those things through book as well as through other resources. I'm creating the free resources, so many free resources, like what should I do when I'm in this situation guides. Any situation, I'm just listing few of those, but then when I share you the system, and my book is launching on 6th of November, when I share you that system so that you can create your own answer, that's the whole idea about the system. I want to create financial freedom and fulfillment for my audience, my clients, my that one mission I've taken. But people can use that system to create different, podcasts. They can create their own coaching institutes for create coaching something they love, and they talk about whether it's a cooking, whether it's a scaling, whether it's anything, anything. So that is the system that I want to share with the people now.
That is amazing because being involved in the coaching world and talking with people, there's a lot of obviously different courses, different methods out there that you can buy into and engage with, but the problem for so many people is they get into these systems and they find out that they are not for them. And what you just shared and what you have built, I think it really can give people a lot of hope because just like you said, you're giving essentially them the opportunity to discover their own solutions, their own version of a fulfilled life. And I just think that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you picked a very unique number. And I want to ask you about that because you picked 15,100 people that you want to directly help achieve financial freedom and a fulfilled life. What does that number mean to you? Because it's not common. It's not like I want to help a million people or 100,000. Why that number?
I chose this number very thoughtfully in my life. When we talk about fulfillment, it is not a task that done once is done. It's not that. Fulfillment is about sustaining happiness. Fulfillment is about sustainably behaving. Fulfillment only works when you sustain this, when it's long term. It means that I wanted to only take a mission, a challenge, which I could complete. And when I say
Mm,
15,100, and my vision, if I go one step back on the vision part, vision is having every human who could create their own financial freedom and a fulfilled life. However, when 15,100 is like, if I could be actively working with 100 coaches, like you talked about that, 100 courses project. Yeah. in one of your video that I saw the other day. So the 100 coaches, if I could do actively work with 100 coaches, like actively work with them, because I know that their questions, their behaviors, their queries, and making sure that there is someone who can understand, who can look after them, who can be with them, who can appreciate with them, and who can be with that journey together. So those 100, then if they look after other 100 people like myself, we would be impacting 10,000 lives actively, actively. And then I also wanted to include people in a life circles, because their life is very important, and most important, even more important than us, because those are the people like our friends, our community, our family, our spouse. There, without them, we cannot achieve what we want to achieve. So, especially, I wanted to include parents, because we have, even personally me, I wanted to include that. Again, everyone has their own choice who they want to include in their mission, their life. I wanted to make sure that I include parents, because I couldn't do much for them. My father passed away last year, and it was a sudden death, and I couldn't do much for him.
I'm so sorry for that loss.
But he's been inspiration for me to share this message to the world. And now, so including them, it makes 15,100. And then
Okay.
through this ripple, if anyone else where we couldn't work actively with them, they also create their life, a fulfilled life, and achieve financial freedom. That's a bonus. That's a bonus that we may get.
It's the ripple effect,
Yeah.
but it's coming from a person with a mathematic mind. It's a mathematic ripple effect, and I get that now. That's awesome. So we've kind of been dancing around this for the past 10, 15 minutes or so. The book, the seven, the seven ways, the seven steps. So let's get into that. What is what are these seven steps, and how can they help you achieve a fulfilled life?
Even though that question where I've written the whole book, but I'll try to share this in a way so that audience gets some value out of it. So that I'll try to do it. So 7 steps are: number one, it's a first step is celebrate and be grateful. So being grateful brings numerous benefits for us: mental, emotional, even physical well-being. It helps in reducing stress and anxiety. It enhances resilience. It helps in mindfulness, improves sleep quality. It strengthens the relationships. When I asked my 8-year-old son what is he grateful for, and he answered me that school, life, food, house, parents, then he got cheeky, gifts, and friends. And we emphasize this, that doesn't matter what situation we are, think about 7 things that you're grateful for in any given situation, in any condition. And we can find this minimum 7 things, like at least this basic thing, what my son could share. We have all those all the time. Very important. So that's step one. Number two is align your fulfillment vision. It helps you ensure that your activities and your goal are aligned with your core values and core purpose. In this fulfillment vision, we we look into all the 10 elements, which is the activities, behavior, habits, beliefs, goals. values, character, purpose, principles, and environment. So when you find a purpose, and you don't have, when you're considering life as a purpose, then it's a life subject. When we're considering business as a purpose, then we look at the business purpose. When you look at one podcast episode, there is a purpose of that particular podcast episode. So when we have that purpose, we can align everything on that to that purpose. So your activities are aligned to the purpose, your habits, behavior, everything is aligned to the purpose. When you do that, you create a vision, which is a fulfillment vision.
Mm.
You can see your beliefs. What are the positive beliefs? And what are those negative beliefs about that purpose? What are the imposter syndrome? Yeah, sorry, you want.
No, no, no. It's okay. It's okay. This is all great stuff, and it's spurring other questions. And so, how are you helping people discover or realize their own purpose through this system?
Yeah, we create this simple 7 steps again, checklist, simple 7 step checklist, and
Okay.
so yeah, so that way you can just find your purpose, and similarly you can find because purpose sometimes we see, oh, it's a big thing. When you see, look at the purpose, is is when you talk about life, then we think, oh, it's a big thing. But when you talk about the purpose of, as I said, this episode, so it's that, then you say, oh, it's a simple thing to find the purpose of this particular episode, or purpose of doing a particular degree, or purpose of cooking, anything. So purpose itself is not a difficult question. When you think about a bigger impact, when you think about the life, then you need to spend a little bit more time and go through that uh, you know go through that process, just evaluating. However, finding a purpose is not difficult task, not difficult task at
Mm.
all. And which again, I'll share more, that how everyone can just find their purpose, and they can change. It's again through the system. But I uh, continue with these 7 steps, and there's more.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Number three. Number three is know your win, which is now understanding what fulfillment means to you, ensures that you're working towards your meaningful goals. And in this, um, that we should create our own win, we created the 30 cells framework, which I shared earlier, that brand, money, time, skill, health, and experience, only your 5 life circles. So that way, it's a 6 by 5, 30 cells chart, and where you can really find out that what you really want. Once you do step two, it tells you your purpose, it tells you your goals, that they are aligned with that. Now, when you go on step three, you dig deep. What does that financial freedom mean to you? How would you like to spend 168 hours in a week? We just talk about work-life balance all the time, but how would you like? Because your time and my timing may be different. I may have a
Absolutely.
family, you may not have a family. I may have friends, you may not have friends. I may like a bigger business, so you may like even bigger than me, right? So
Yeah.
everyone's fulfillment is different, and we need to ask ourselves what fulfills us.
That's so beautiful. And I just want to interject one point
Yep.
into there to come into the abundance mindset, and this idea that there's not enough money to go around. If you reach a certain level of success, that means someone else can't. And what you just highlighted there so beautifully is not everybody wants the same thing. Not everybody wants to live in a huge mansion in Beverly Hills. Some people are happy with a small cabin in the woods is their dream home. you know the idea of abundance is not just an idea, it's a reality. So I just wanted to interject that, so please continue.
Well, thank you for that. And yeah, keep doing that, because this way, even your audience will get more out of it, rather than just me saying, yeah, that's great. Thank you for doing that. And step four is now, once you understand your win, Now, step four is knowing your client's win. And now, when I say know your client, I'm talking a very different paradigm here. And a client, I've used particularly this name client because we, through our environment, through our studies, through our, you know, that we learn that clients are important. And this is why I'm using the same terminology here. So know your client, I mean like every other person in your life, consider them as a client. Whether they're paying you or not paying you, everyone is your client. It's a client-supply relationship I'm talking about,
Oh, okay.
right? Where we are the supplier, you are the client. Every other person in your life is the client. When you are delivering something, you can say giver and receiver, client or a supplier, the same thing. So when you give something, the other person is receiver. When you receive something, then you are the receiver, other person is giver. So, so client, supplier, same terminology, right? Um,
Got it.
and now, when we go to understand what our client's fulfillment is, we practice these two values, which is the curiosity and empathy. Very important.
Hmm.
Never judgmental, never interrogate. You want to go deep in understanding because you've chosen your people you want to be in your step three. This is my life circle. I want to have spouse, I want to have a kid, I want to have this job or this business or whatever. You've chosen that. Now our next step is to go deep in their life to understand why would they want to be in your life. Understand that, find their way. How can you fulfill them? Whether you are an employer, whether you are a colleague, whether you are a spouse, whether you are a parent, you've chosen them. For example, in my case, if I say I want to have a kid, right? So I went to that process and have a kid, right? And now, even before I say that I have a kid, I need to go through how would I fulfill that kid's life. If I can't fulfill my kid's life, I have no right to have a kid.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. There are way too many parents out there that are not equipped to be a parent. And I think we are seeing that in our society and how there's just a complete communication and empathetic breakdown that's happening right now. So, yeah, very, very well said and very poignant.
And same thing with my spouse. If I cannot fulfill my spouse every day, every moment, then he or she has all the right to move out. Because it's not, as I said, fulfillment is need to be sustainable. Then only we call it fulfillment. It's not once that I've done that good deed and I got something out of it. Life is different. So fulfilled life is different. And
Right.
this is where it we need to go deep in understanding and things change. Things change. And then we'll have to keep doing that same exercise. Number five. Number five is now once you understand your win, once you understand your client's win. Client could be your parents, spouse, kid, family, friends, anyone, right? And you're paying clients as well when you're talking business. So now is the time you go for a signed win-win agreement. You create that what a fulfillment look like for them, and you present that solution. Now, when you say, "Oh, why would I do everything?" And this is very because I wanted fulfillment.
Ooh, oh boy, there was a truth bomb right there. Wow. Yeah. Why would you? Oh my gosh, I got chills. Why would you do everything? Because you're the one that said you wanted it. That is intense, man. Because I was just going to ask you, this sounds like a whole lot of work that you're talking about, and humans generally don't like a lot of work. So, why would we do this? Or, how could we make it easier? But boy. I'm excited for maybe how you answer those couple questions.
Yeah, and then step six is now, because you've agreed now that this is how our life looks like, this is how I'll do. And in that step five, you also take agreements that how will the other person delivers you your way. You share that plan. You take their words and you create a plan of that. And see, it's not difficult. I just share that it's not difficult because everyone wants to win. And
Mm,
you when in my case, for example, when I have my spouse, now she also wants the same thing. She wants to fulfill me as well. She may not have the same language, she may not have the same way to say that, but she wants the same thing. This is why
right.
she got married as well. That's why she wants to be with me. So it's not difficult. It's not difficult because when two people want the same thing, when their purpose is same about the thing we're talking about, for example, in a marriage, right? When two people want to be in marriage for the same reason, which is fulfilling each other, so it's not difficult then.
No, no, it's not. More hands make the work less difficult.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because you can align those activities, behaviors, habits towards that purpose. Because we clearly see if I behave differently, if I behave being again scarcity mindset, anxious, jealous about my spouse, I know that this relationship will end today or tomorrow,
100%.
right? So I needed to change myself, not be jealous, not be anxious, not be scarcity mindset. It's that simple. You have to change it because it's like when you look at the principles, universal principle is very simple. It wouldn't be now suddenly you will say now jealousy is a good thing. No, jealousy is never a good thing. So therefore, there is a concrete truth there about these principles. Win-win is a principle, and I learned from Stephen Covey, and he learned from someone else. So universal principle. They don't cheat with you.
That is absolutely amazing. And you're right. It helps, like we said, it helps you get the work done. It helps get that reciprocal relationship happening if you have somebody that wants the same thing. And also on the other side of that coin, it really allows you to see who in your network that maybe you have chosen to be in that life circle shouldn't be, because they are not doing the work to bring to have that cycle with you.
Yeah. And I've got
Yeah.
very simple four-step process there as well to do that. But to how to, all right. So number six is now you have agreement. Whether it's your paying client, whether your team, whether your spouse, whether your kid, you've got an agreement. Verbal, written, any kind of agreement. It's agreement. Even when we saying again, when we get married, when we say I do, there is an agreement. So now we in step six we deliver that agreement with excellence. And when I say
Mm.
excellence, means your values are you being resourceful, you being having that value of integrity. You show up when you agree to show up. Innovation through curiosity and creating solutions which are win-win. Because the
So you're showing up with intention, essentially, is what you're saying. You're showing up with intention and forethought, and that is the effort that you've put into that agreement. Totally understand.
and the last one is excellence means when we saying four elements there: within time, within budget, within the specifications, with fulfilling journey. So these four elements need to be fulfilled when I say something is excellent. So
How did you come to those? How did you come to those four elements to define that?
it's just how I feel this is something. When you say send me something, is it excellent? So I say if it's within time. That when I say time, it sometimes we complain about the um, it's project got past due date and all those things we talk about. However, when I say as long as the client and supplier agree on a new timeline, it is still can be considered excellent because they agree on. It's all about agreement. It's not about, see, when you look at everything is submitted to the higher purpose. It's not about that one thing, right? Higher purpose
Right.
is fulfillment. It's not about half an hour early or half an hour late. It's about agreement. It's about, again, going back to your client, if you're running late, right? Is it okay if I take an extra 15 minutes because I want to do it an excellent job?
Yeah.
If other person says, no,
And
I'm happy with this, you okay. You took the agreement.
yeah, you've got that agreement. You got that understanding.
And that's the main thing, not
Hmm.
15 minutes. See, I tell you, whatever the mission I said, 15,100, even if I die right now, I have no regret because it's not the 15,100 is important. Important is that we are creating that fulfillment for each other.
Yeah. And you've already solidified that word getting out, that methodology within your book. And that's why, if God forbid, and I hope it doesn't happen, but if God forbid you did pass away soon,
Yeah.
you would have still completed your mission. You would have gotten that knowledge to the world. Yeah. That is that's a real fulfilled life there. Absolutely.
And number seven is that achieve with joy. There's four elements of that. It's about how we receive feedback, how we give
Mm.
feedback, and celebrate the outcome. Every journey we celebrate the outcome. If we achieve what we wanted to, if we couldn't achieve what we wanted to, what we had the initial KPIs of that project, then we reflect on our learnings. Because skill is also a part of six elements of that fulfillment needs. It's not the money only, it's not the time only, it's not the experience only, it's a skill as well, because I'll definitely learn from that failed project. As I said, a failure is important part of your story.
Yes. Part of that roller coaster that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even if I keep failing my whole life, all life, but with my failures, you will succeed one day because you will know that you do not need to do those things what I was doing. That's a success there as well.
Wow. Yet another abundant mindset shift. Is that the hits just keep on coming, man. All right. Well, let's keep going. Let's dive deeper into number 7. I think there's two more elements to that, right?
Now these are the four elements. Basically, you give the feedback so that the receiver is fulfilled. When you receive feedback so that the giver is fulfilled, and you celebrate the journey together, the outcome together with your life circle. And then you reflect on those learning. These are the only 4 points in 7 steps. And that
Mm.
gets you one straight line in a way, or a circle is a 7 steps. Start to end, complete. It helps you thinking and implementation. Bigger picture as well as detail.
Perfect.
Start to end. And I've been there in situations where I was lost, I was stuck. And when I have this now, it helps me practice my fulfillment every day. Now I don't see advice coming from here, there, any conflict in that. In this system, those all point of views can stay in harmony. Your point of view is important, my point of view is important, and they all can stay together.
Right. So long as we're feeding in to each other's goals and feeding into their sense of a fulfilled life, you can have that feedback and exchange, and it can be open and free and non-judgmental, like you were talking about earlier. And it's yeah, it doesn't have to be hard, which is good because it sounded hard at the beginning.
On the hard, I tell you, on the hard, another thing. When we're saying hard, people value hard things because of how we've been wired. When things are not hard, we don't value them enough. This is why people think, oh, go through the challenges, go through, make the hard, and then you'll value them. This is where I'm sharing this a different paradigm. People who make your life easy, they are the most valuable people, not the people who make your life harder.
Amen to that.
This is
One
why.
of the principles, one I'm just real quick, one of the principles that one of my first mentors told me was make it easy for people to work with you. And that can be applied across the board. Friends, family members, clients, especially if you're in the B2B space, make it easy for people to work with you. And, you just reciprocated right there how important it is.
And
Yeah.
when these people, we share that thank yous, being grateful for the people who every day with you make your life easier. And we otherwise, with this environment, we forget them. We only listen to the people who make loud noises, people who make tantrums, and we forget those people who quietly there with you all the time, making your life easier. We should never forget them. We should be grateful for them first.
And what a way to help foster a relationship as well. If you're going through and thinking who you're grateful for, and you hold that category in your mind of who makes my life easier, who makes my life more enjoyable, and it's almost effortless. And if you can find those people and be grateful for them first, I mean, you're just stacking love, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And we were talking about how failure is always a learning lesson, right? And I wanted to ask you, kind of as we wrap up here, I wanted to ask you, Next Gen, the accounting service, was that your first business? Is that correct?
Yeah, first business, next in accounting.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, what was the greatest lesson that you learned doing that business?
See, my business next in accounting is still that is there, which I'm expanding that business, which I've always been working in next in accounting with this mindset. Now that I have a concrete process or a system there, but the failure you asked me that, or the learning from there, is that I struggle a lot between should I focus on my this little thing here, get my new client, do some work, and focus on my building business versus the bigger picture we talk about, the fulfillment. Always been in struggle for last many years. We just, we focus here, then few months passed away, then I missed that. So now, by having this system in place, we can see the blue line. When you look at the GPS, that blue line is this. Even if I have to focus some time on that little thing, and I know that it's a part of the journey for that time being, and then I need to go back on the big that purpose. So that's what my learning is being. that how do I stay with my purpose, and even if I need to go off track, I don't, feel like I'm off track, but it's just I know that's a part now. With more resources, more like-minded people, I'll get this, back to my journey faster.
Right.
So that's what that I would say the biggest learning while doing this business, that I can be there.
Yeah, I love that you can focus on purpose instead of focusing day to day on the grind, or as people say, working in your business versus working on your business. That thank you for sharing that. And I want to make sure people don't miss the opportunity to pick up your book, to get into your world, get onto your email list. So, where is the best place or two for people to find you and get into your world?
So my website, my first and last name, mukeshbajaj.com.au, and where you can get a download these 7 steps, a summary, 5 page summary right now, straight away. Just go there and you can do it now. Also, then you can connect me on social media, Instagram, Facebook. And if you send me a message, GYET, and I'll respond personally, that I'll know that you came from this, through Brian, and I can send you even more like resources, so that the whole idea is so that you could see any value, um, that what I'm sharing, and if you are fulfilled, that's great, and then maybe someone else in your life is stuck or lost or needs some direction, so it may help them. So it's all about just sharing the message that I'm keen about. So yeah, any way you connect, we'll get back to you. If you say GYET, I'll send you those things personally. Otherwise, through website, you can just download everything there.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, definitely place those links below so people can come to your site and again start getting into this amazing content and system that you have built. And I just can't thank you enough, Mukesh, for coming on today and sharing with us what you've shared and building what you have built. I am excited to watch this book come out, and I'm definitely going to pay attention and see all the success that you have. I feel like there's a best selling author coming out of this right now. I have that feeling.
I want to say one thing here. Honestly, one thing. See, I would like to acknowledge with your audience right now that I have flaws. This is my first book, and you'll find imperfections in writing. I'm not a born speaker. You'll find imperfections there. I'm not a seasoned podcaster, so you will find so many places that where I have messed up, even now. However, I would say that 7 steps fulfillment system is a universal principle. It doesn't have as many flaws as I have. So don't just underestimate the system. It's not about me. I didn't want to wait for next 10 years to get polished and become better speaker before I could share this. Even for me, it's more valuable that when I'm in a journey with you now, when I'm facing those challenges which you are facing now, I wanted to share this now so that you could see that it works. It gives me the courage to be here. It gives me the courage to to share this message and to share my failures. So it's not about me. So don't just, even when you find me anywhere, you see the flaws in me, and you will, but still try that, because it's not about me.
Absolutely. I love that you said that because it just solidifies this whole fact that perfection is an illusion, that we are all flawed people trying to help each other do the best that we can and achieve the life that we want. And I am really grateful that you did not wait to put this out. So again, I just thank you so much for coming on. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise, Brian. Thank you for your questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, you know what to do. Like this episode, share this episode with your network, your friends, your family, your entire circle that you hold dear, because there is information here that can help them and you live your unique and prosperous life. So take care, share this episode out, and peace. I'll see you in the next one.